Coach's office, inner sanctum, sitting with Mark Nieldy. Obviously a big week. Yesterday was a scheduled board meeting and you had to present. How did you go?
Yeah, you're right, scheduled board meeting. So Craigie, Neil Craig, Todd Viney, Josh Marnie and I went over and we presented our own little snapshots as we do all the time. Yesterday's was centering on, we had a lot of questions about our player list and the development and how they're progressing and how we are going to progress them further. So we sat around and presented a bit of information on that, Robbo, and that was, there were a couple of other things, but in the most part it was about, going through, no, we didn't go through each player, but going through a number of our players, especially the ones that are somewhere between that 20 plus game mark. There's a bit of concentration on those, and then the younger ones, because the majority of our list is there. So that was pretty much what we spoke about at length yesterday.
Now, did you speak to Geordie McKenzie about how to break a tag? Because obviously well, not Geordie McKenzie because he does it, but Nathan Jones is getting tagged quite heavily at the moment because the media are right on your back at the moment.
Yeah. Look, I understand that everybody has a job to do within the industry, but I must admit there was an occasion yesterday where I did think I'd committed quite a serious crime when I stopped at a red light and the car was surrounded by about 15 or 20 people. I didn't quite know what to make of that.
Paparazzi, mate.
Yeah, it is. Well, apparently it is what it is, Russell, and people do what they do.
She's a tough caper, mate. Don't worry about that. Unforgiving. Now, let's talk about the game against the Hawks.
Yep.
What did we learn playing against one of the league's heavyweights?
Yeah, okay, so we did some reviews yesterday with the players. One of the things that came out where our players were, in terms of their effort rating and all those types of things, we felt for the most part of the game, we gave every ounce of energy that we possibly had, and clearly to go up against the Hawks, who are probably the most informed team in the competition. Our boys are able to learn a lot. We were pleased with the way that we continued to attack the game. Obviously not pleased. No one, it doesn't matter where you sit in terms of experience, you hate and it just really gets at you when you get done by so much. But there was a fair bit to learn. But, the Hawks are a side that's up and running, heaps of experience, and the manner in which they punished us on the turnovers. And when we didn't quite get things right at the stoppage, the manner in which they scored, is A grade.
Two things: 300 plus possessions for the first time this year, I think.
Yes.
And Chris Dawes playing some good football at the moment. Would that be pleasing? Oh,
those things were, yeah. So we got some little things, and it is about reinforcing what winning looks like, even if it is in small sections. And the amount of disposals that we had was an increase. So we're pleased with that. And Dawsey now, he's played a couple of games, and we're starting to see little bits and pieces. And he put together a consistent game. I think he had a dozen marks and 20 odd disposals. So that was good. And again, a couple of the shining lights, Turlick and Matt Jones, Nathan Jones on this occasion, plus the addition of David Roden, we thought was a good one.
And Eddie, I want to ask you, because Clarkson sits down to a nice feast of a selection table. You've got blokes like Clark out at the moment. You're going to lose Frawley, and we've got a big game coming up, and we'll move on to that now. But how does that affect you as a coach? I mean, I know it's part of the process and you've got to do it, you've got to choose from what you've got, but a lot of your senior players are injured at the moment. You'd just love to have them out there against those big teams.
Oh, look, everybody wants all their players, but injuries are a reality. The world knows, and we know internally, where our list is at in terms of a number of areas. And, you get injuries, But, the weekend just gone, the weekend coming up, gives us a great opportunity to go out and compete against really good sides, and that is the best way to develop. Like we can get in here and train and talk and video and all those types of things, but the best opportunity to develop is game day, and so that's the attitude that we'll take into the Pies. We'll try and attack them. Okay,
let's talk football. Pies. Tagging, who do you stop? Because they've got some good midfielders. What are you taking this week to the Magpies? Without giving too much away, of course, but I want to talk about football for a second.
When you play teams like Collingwood and or Hawthorn, we know that they've got an array of midfielders, so we'll have that discussion. Which one do we go to? Is it Pendlebury? Is it Swan? Is it Sidebottom? Is it Harry O'Brien? Is he going to play on a wing? So we'll have those discussions. We haven't really zeroed in on one just yet. It may be that throughout the day you've got to flip between a couple. So we'll have that discussion, and we'll have a look at their style of play, and we'll do a brief, a report to our players about that. But again, for us in the phase that we're in, it's got to be about us. And a couple of, were we disappointed on the weekend that some of our turnovers, a drop mark, those types of things led to a goal. Our boys trying to attack and run out of the back line, a turnover, and then they've got extra guys back here. Clearly that hurts. But the thing that we've got to reinforce is keep doing that. Take that kick, take that run, do that, and that's the way that we'll improve. So that will continue to be the message this weekend.
You coming up with a team that you used to be involved with in Chris Dawes as well, plays against Collingwood, I think for the first time, is that right?
Yeah, we'll be for Dawsey, yes.
So a big week for both of you?
Yeah, big week for Dawsey in terms of that. Yeah, big week for me as well. And that's part and parcel of the AFL system. People move from club to club, coaches, players on a regular basis, but enemies for the week. And after that we'll move on.
Newdy, appreciate your honesty and catching up with me. Tough times for all of us at the moment, but your honesty is always appreciated. Thanks.
Good on you, Robbo.
Thanks, mate.